in class. Art teachers saw the potential within me to do something with it, but I never pursued it seriously until I went to prison, unfortunately. And I was 18 years old when I was in prison the first time. And that's where I really began to hone my skills, was within prison. That was my outlet. That was really my savior, because it was the only thing that kept the darkness at bay.
It was really quite astounding to me to kind of read their letters each week and learn how much of an impact an arts practice could have on an individual's life in the context of incarceration.
It's just surreal. I didn't think my life would ever include art in something like this, you know. I can do stockings, Christmas stockings really good. You know, I can do stuff for my kids really good, but never for actually society and people to see it and actually have a reaction to it the way that I reacted to it. It's just, couldn't even imagine.
And honestly, the way I teach the drawing class is pretty much exactly the way I would teach it to a college student. So, you know, we start with simple contour line drawing. It's based on observation. So it's really about learning to draw the thing you can see in front of you as accurately as possible. So we move through contour line drawing, and then we introduce the concept of value relationships and how to shade for lights and darks. So even like when I have the students do a drawing of their bed, we ask them to approach that as a kind of self-portrait and to really think about like what their bed says about them.
There's actually another piece that goes with my piece that's in the show, but it's my old roommate, my old bunkie. She couldn't make it, she's too shy, but our pieces kind of, they weren't together. We didn't make them together, but they kind of go together because the fact that we were roommates and our complete opposite pictures. Like, you know, hers was real down and gloomy and dirty and rats and all kinds of stuff. And mine was bright and beautiful. And we live in the same room, but have completely different experiences.
Art has always allowed, it's been my escape. It's always been very cathartic for me. And it allows me to just pour my soul into it. So I know while I was in prison, my voice didn't really matter. I was just a number to a lot of individuals. And that's when I met my art mentor, John Sherman, who was a lifer at the time and eventually got clemency himself. And art empowered me to say something, and the better I became, like the more people were paying attention to what I had to say through my art. And there was a responsibility born of that as well. I remember something that my art mentor told me when I was honing my skills, when he taught me the fundamentals and all the technical aspects of it. He was like, that's fine and well, and replicating things is cool. He was like, replicating life, he's like, that's fine. But he was like, as an artist, I challenge you to find your own voice. Say something much larger. Don't just go through life barely using your voice as an artist. He was like, challenge people to think. He was like, your art should evoke a certain feeling within people and make them feel some very visceral reactions. And he was like, your job as an artist is to capture the human reality. And he was like, the good, the bad, and everything in between. He was like, that's our job as artists.
And then you go and you meet people inside and you realize like, oh, people inside are just as complicated as people outside. And the vast majority of people inside, they've had difficult lives. They had an incident in the past that they may take full responsibility for, but that doesn't define their capacity as like a human out in the world forever and ever. And we just have this system that doesn't really give a lot of people a second chance.
So in 2015, my husband of 7 years and the father of my kids was murdered in front of me. Hold on, I should be able to say this by now.
No, that's okay, take your time.
We had a home invasion, and we got woken up to silencers and pistols in our face, and they shot him in bed with me. And not only did my husband pass away, but he passed away in a horrible, violent, tragic way. We didn't know, why or who or anything. So not only from losing my husband, but what happened, transpired in front of me, I lost my mind. I left the house that night and I never went back. Me and my husband, we have eight children. 6 of them were there that night, and my kids lost both their parents that night because just went on a down spiral. I didn't understand. I was mad at God. I was doing everything right. My life, I was a nurse, we had all of our children taken care of. We had a lot of kids, but we were there doing it, and he didn't deserve that. I didn't understand, which led to just whole destructive behavior. I was pretty much on a suicide mission for about 3 or 4 years, which led to drug use, which led to me living in Colorado, and now I'm a felon. I'm almost 40 and I'm a felon now, which is just crazy. I didn't know it was as big as it was until I came, and then I just I'm still been in shock, and everybody's talking about it, and it just makes me feel validated is the only word I can think of, because my kids didn't even know I could draw, and they're still like, "You sure you didn't trace this, Mom?"
I feel exhibits like this are a strong showcase of redemption and what's possible through art. Because I think most civilians in the free world, especially those that are not justice impacted, those that have never stepped foot inside a penal institution, they have a very skewed vision of what crime and punishment should look like, let alone what prisoners on the inside are doing and what potential they possess. And I feel like the showcasing of these talents is just a stark reminder that these are human beings, even though they've done some very bad things and made some horrible decisions. They're humans at the end of the day. They do have something valuable to say. Many of them are remarkably talented individuals, and if given the proper opportunities and chances, they could be out here really thriving and impacting lives in a positive way.